The OnePlus 10 Pro reveal event, since it's been available in China since January, so not really a reveal, but it's over. We know the dates for North America and the rest of the world. North America will be getting it on April 14th, at least available to order. And we know our price as well. I want to talk a moment about the presentation of the event itself. They went with this kind of faux Shark Tank approach, trying to be a little cute with it. And I didn't think that was good at all. After all the problems of the last year with them, mostly in software, which we'll talk about, and the changes that they made, they needed to sit down one-to-one, whether it's the CEO or whoever you wanted to put up there, and have a conversation with us about why we continue to invest and buy their phones. I understand they addressed the Oppo stuff and they addressed the ColorOS stuff, but it needed to be in a more direct manner. They needed to spend a little bit more time explaining to us what they were going to be doing, why that we needed to hang in there with OnePlus, especially after the Oxygen OS 12 disaster, and I didn't feel I got that. For me, I'm not going to be buying this device. When they came out with that price, North America, it seems, only is getting the 8 gig version, which is odd. The rest of the world had 8 gig and 16 gig. For the United States, North America, they had only the 8 gig version for $899. So even if they do release another version of it that has 12 gigs, you got to imagine it's close over 1,000. And when you talk about that, other options become way more attractive. You're talking about the S22 Ultra at that point with the Samsung deals, or just a regular price drop to get it to 1,000. I think it beats the pants off the OnePlus device, especially when it's running Oxygen OS 12 still. And even the Pixel 6 Pro at $899 with the 12 gigs of RAM that you get in the Pixel 6 Pro, and all the optimizations and the Pixel stuff, and even with all the problems that they've had, trust me, it pains me to recommend a Pixel device over something else, but I do believe that for $899, when you start getting up there in price, there are better options. And I don't think that's it. OnePlus, we all know what they came from. They were offering the flagship specs and all the rest of it, never settled. They were offering all the performance at a lower price point. They need to get back to that, because they need to become what they were, the Xiaomi of the United States, where they come out, they say, here's the latest specs, here's the latest processor, here's the best screen. Yeah, the camera's going to be iffy, but we're offering it at $300 less than Samsung. Right? That's what worked for them. That's what got us all to be fans. Now they insist, and there isn't even a regular model, just the Pro. They insist on keeping at this flagship price point, and I just don't think the feature set, and more importantly, the performance, is there to go toe-to-toe with the Samsung at that price point, with the Google at that price point. So let's talk about that, the performance. OnePlus, the Oxygen OS on the OnePlus 9 was pound for pound, I think, the best experience on Android last year. Certainly on par with One UI, certainly on par with the Pixel or Android 11 on a Google Pixel. Great. Fantastic performance. Speedy, fluid, the screen was great. I didn't have any issues with it. The only issue I had was battery life, which was on all the Snapdragon 888 devices. Knocked it out of the park. I was a huge defender of the OnePlus 9 and absolutely thought it was a great deal. $799, $699. They had some price drops in there. You could have stuck it in at $599 at certain points during the year. It was absolutely worth it. Then they came out with Oxygen OS 12 and the ColorOS integration, and what a mess. That was a dumpster fire. If we thought the Android 12 release on the Pixel was bad, they actually had to stop sending it out to people. They actually stopped you at some point from downloading Oxygen OS 12 because it was that bad. That bad. And they're sticking with it for this year. Now, they backed it off. They said, well, we're going to back off some of these integrations. We're going to make it more like the old Oxygen OS again, but it's going to take until the end of the year. So basically, with Android 13, they're going to be doing that. They don't get to do that on my dime. Not for $900. If you're telling me we're stuck with the Oxygen OS 12 experience for all of 2022 for the most part, I'm going to pass. I'm going to pass. That's certainly not worth the money. Not when you have other better experiences already out there with premium support. Just doesn't match up. If we're having this conversation at $699 in a non-pro model, I'm there. Talk to me. But if you're charging $900, $1,000 if they come up with a 12 gig version, it's just not going to be there. And they tried to say, well, it's going to be a ColorOS base. but will have a lighter, thinner Oxygen OS experience. Just spare me. Spare me. Go back to the old Oxygen OS. You had something that worked. You had something that was lightweight, snappy. The performance was great and rivaled the performance of phones $200 and $300 more expensive. And you messed it up. You messed it up. And until I see that back again at the end of the year, whether it's Android 13 or whatever they come up with, they patch Android or patch the Android 12, Oxygen OS 12, it's just not going to be something that I think is worth $900 when those dollars could be spent elsewhere on more proven experiences that are out right now that are doing well. And that includes the Pixel 6 Pro, despite all the issues, because you get the 12 gigs of RAM, you get the nice screen, you get the 120 hertz refresh rate, you get the build quality, and you get the support, the Google support and the Pixel features, which I think will beat the OnePlus features at that price point. And that's like I said, that's painful to say. Painful to say. And, Jerry Rig Everything, I talk about his videos a few times saying it's mostly entertainment, which it is, and he does a great job with his videos, and they're fun to watch, but they are entertainment. And I usually don't... The biggest thing that I usually take away from them is just don't hold your phone over an open fire like a marshmallow, and you'll mostly be okay. But the OnePlus 10 Pro video of his concerned me. He bent it once this way, once back, and on the next one, it snapped in half. And I understand you're not going to be sitting there at full strength trying to bend your phone in half, but it's not unrealistic like what the iPhone had years ago when they first had the plus size version, sitting on the phone. If you're in a car, if you got a bucket seat, if you got a sports seat in your car and it's kind of angular, if you have it in your back pocket, you forget about it or something like that, even in your side pocket and you're leaning or you push down, it's not inconceivable that you can have a situation where you could bend a phone that's more easily bendable than some of the other devices out there. So normally I don't take much stock in those torture tests for devices because I think it's a little extreme. But in this case, it's possible through everyday use that might become a factor. That's concerning as well. So those are the three reasons: price, performance, and then kind of an honorable mention for the durability of the device, why I'm going to be passing on the OnePlus 10 Pro. And that doesn't mean I'm just writing off OnePlus. I'm certainly not. If they're back next year with a OnePlus 11, with a couple different models, at competitive price points again, with an Oxygen OS 13 that more resembles what they did with 11 and 10 and all the way back down the line, I'll be there. But I personally can't envision supporting a situation where they're going with Oxygen OS 12 in a device that, yes, has flagship specs and flagship build quality and all the rest of it, and it checks all the boxes for the feature set besides the RAM, but comes in at a price point near $1,000 when there's a lot of strong competition out there. They need to get back. OnePlus needs to take some time and figure out what they are in North America. If you're giving North America one model, then you just don't want to be here. You want to bring Oppo over here instead? I don't know what the case is, but you need to figure it out. And until they figure it out, until they know where they're going and their ship has a rudder, then my money is staying in my pocket as far as OnePlus is concerned. If you've made it this far, LongIslandWatch.com, look like Steve Vicious. Who wouldn't? Fantastic. Link in the description. Support those who support the channel. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time. I was looking forward to that emerald green color as well, though. That was kind of cool. But that one. Next year, maybe. Have that Steve Vicious day.